Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. We have, as you have just mentioned, we have traveled over from Japan. We think that the video that you saw also kind of represents the kind of magic that we try to bring across from Japan. My name is Leo, and my name is Diverse. And once again, we're a company based in Japan, developing software that converts your 3D models into VR. And the software name is SYMMETRY. We want to put your minds and designs in symmetry, thus the name. I'd like to begin, though, with, before jumping into features, I'd like to begin with a quote from an esteemed urban design director, John Lang. He is the professor emeritus at the University of New South Wales, and he's also a design director, urban design director at the Pennsylvania ERG, Environmental Research Group. And he said this: urban design must take a user-oriented approach to achieve a higher quality of life in human settlements. And so we think and we agree that it is important to put in, again, into symmetry the intention of the designer with the user, the occupant. At the same rate, however, there is an issue. There are a number of award-winning designs that are getting awarded for poor designs. And this is awarded every year in the Carbuncle Awards given to us by Prince Charles. But I believe this points out a very important idea in the sense that there is a discrepancy. There is a gap between the professional, yourselves, and the client. And mainly, the gap that occurs is in the differences, particularly in the evaluation criteria. Not just in the evaluation criteria in hard facts alone, but also inconsistency in the conveyance of values. And this could be values of design and trying to get across and trying to convey to your clients the importance of a design and the function of it as well. But oftentimes there is a discrepancy that occurs. And once again, there are also ambiguous articulation, descriptions, sayings like robust or standardized, and these sort of ambiguities are also contributing to the gap. And so our proposition is that we would like to offer the power of immersion over observation, not just mere observation of a beautifully rendered 3D model, but to not only provide yourselves, but also provide your clients to get an experience and a sense of place inside of your models that you create. And we believe that that offers enormous power of immersion. And so our software is currently available over Steam, and it's available free of charge. And I would like to talk now about what kind of features you'll be able to experience inside of this software. But more than the power of my speaking and observation alone, I think I'd like to borrow the power of immersion and experience. And I would like to call upon a very good friend and a guest partner speaker, Dr. Matthew Nicholls. Doctor, we would like to share with everyone a model that you have been, actually you've been using several models inside of our VR software, but we would like, if you could talk about the model that we're about to see, and if we can immerse ourselves in there. I'll guide you and navigate you along the way. I give you the mic.
Thank you, it's lovely to be here. So, like many of you here, I'm interested in urban design, in architecture, in the built environment and the human experience of space, but the difference is that I'm not an architect or designer. I'm an ancient historian at a university in England, and my specialism is in ancient Rome. And for as long as I've been researching or teaching the buildings of ancient Rome, I've wanted to use 3D to recreate them and present them to my peers, to my students. And I've started some time ago now using SketchUp for this. The reasons you've heard about all through the day. It's easy, it's accessible, it's fun. Bearing in mind that I'm not an architecture professional, I needed software that I could pick up and play with. And so over the years I've built successive Roman buildings and eventually the whole city of ancient Rome in SketchUp. And I think you can see a picture of it.
Yeah, we have a movie of that.
There we go. This is the city as it appeared in the early 4th century AD. It's maybe 600,000 objects in the model. Lots and lots of those are pine trees. Here it is. So I use this for thinking about urban space and teaching it to my students. And because I found learning SketchUp such a delightful experience, I now teach my students how to use SketchUp to create their own reconstructions. And these are historians and classicists. They can go from no experience to making pretty good models in about 10 weeks, which I think is testament to the power of the software. When I started making this model, VR didn't exist, and I thought of it really as a kind of maquette that one could fly over, as you just saw in that video. But as I've seen virtual reality developing, I've become more and more excited at the prospect of getting inside these spaces for myself and also with my students. And to make that leap that Leah was talking about from viewing a render, attractive as that is, to actual immersion. And I think that's the second great leap for me. The first is to go from black and white 2D plans to a 3D model on the screen. The next leap is to go inside that model in VR space. So I'm super excited that this is now possible using the software that you're being shown. So we're going to look at one particular building. This is theatre building. The outside of it survives pretty well, but you can't go into it. It's private apartments now. And the stage building has vanished, the seats have vanished. So it's a good target for reconstruction because it supplements what exists as a ruin with a reconstruction of what we think it might have looked like. It's a theatre building from the 1st century BC. There it is in the bigger model, and we're going to take it out in isolation now.
Okay. So, shall we immerse and experience it in VR? Okay, Shogo. Shogo is our CEO, by the way. He's also from Japan. We're using HTC Vive. We believe that this is so far the best platform. We believe this to be the best platform because it is fast processing. We've been asked about mobile applications as well, but we don't want to do a quick and dirty, down and dirty kind of application. We'd rather have you experience your models at the best performance and quality as possible. So now, right now what you are seeing is Dr. Matthew's inside of the SYMMETRY studio. And Dr. Nicholls, if you can look around and show everybody. I thought I saw somebody. There's Ryan. That's Ryan waving his hand. He's actually outside of the hall in the restaurant area, and you can visit us later. But we have online collaboration feature right now. And so, the model has already been selected. It's a very simple select and import. And Dr. Nicholls, without further ado, let us now immerse ourselves. He's pointing himself with a laser to be now immersed inside of this model. And so, aside from the online feature that we've just demonstrated, Dr. Nicholls is also able to point his right hand laser and teleport himself to anywhere he wishes. And so he's able to get it from all sorts of angles. You can see that the movement is very liquid and it's very fast processing. There are other features. In his left-hand controller is a menu, a palette, and he will point at a scene. And there's a scenes folder from your SketchUp imported directly, and he will choose seat 2, for example. So seat 2, if you have already pre-configured a scene, you can go there. Ryan is in his face, following right by. So I think this is a great tool. Not only I talked about bridging the gap between the professional and the client, but in Dr. Nicholls' case, between the mentor and the student. How about we go to another scene, to seat 3. And again, this is another perspective. Ryan, once again, in his face, following closely as he's following my cues. There is another another scene. How about a night scene? So we go to the night, and Dr. Nicholls is looking upward and around. Do we see anybody else in the room? I guess that's about it. Okay. And so Ryan is close by, and he will also now go into, let's try going to the stage scene. How about that? Okay, so now we are at on the stage, and Ryan is once again close by, and let's try another feature. There is another feature on the palette called markups. So you can choose any icon you wish, Dr. Nicholls, and he clicks that icon on once, and then he will then mark up the property with modern graffiti on the beautiful Marcellus Theater. And now, after having done so, what we want to try to do is try to communicate to one another whilst inside of the model. And then, Dr. Nicholls, if you can take a picture by clicking on camera, his right hand now becomes a camera, and he can take photographs of the markups that he has made. In the subsequent release, we will offer selfies, but right now it's not made available. But he is using the zoom function as well, and taking different pictures. He did pictures of Ryan as well. And then he can now look at his left hand, a palette. Did I hear Ryan momentarily? I think there's some latency. Then, if you could choose a photograph, Dr. Nicholls, anyone you wish, and if you wanted to say something about it, go ahead and please do so.
This is the view from the stage at the Theatre of Marcellus in Rome.
So this is voice memo that is now recorded, but it's also being converted into text. And whatever that has been said is now being dictated into text. And if we were connected with a higher speed of Wi-Fi, we'd be able to get longer dictated sentences in there. But the idea is, since you're immersed inside of VR, you're not going to be using a keyboard. And as VUI becomes more important, this will become standard, where you will be able to leave messages and be able to manage workflow. And this will help to build consensus inside of the VR world. So another thing that we can perhaps demonstrate is if you can go to daylight settings. So Dr. Nicholls, if you can approximate the perhaps time of day that the Romans were actually going to the theater, what time of day would that have been?
Well, this is a very interesting application for me because this particular theatre, unlike all the other theatres in Rome, points sort of southwest, and my idea is that it's really for morning performances. And we have one inscription from ancient Rome from 17 BC that gives the timetable for a set of theatrical games in this building. So I'm setting it up to the date and time captured in that inscription. And we can see that the sun is just coming up over the seats at about the time the inscription gives for the start of the games. So I can really do some practical archaeological experimentation here and set up the lighting conditions and see the view from the stage, or I can go and see the view from the seats. That's really exciting to bring the building alive like that.
Excellent. So it is in this way that we're able to heighten the experience of a reality, of a place in history that we can now experience for ourselves. And all of you are welcome to experience this as well, courtesy of University of Reading and Dr. Nicholls. If you stop by our booth, you will be able to experience this. So I think that about does it, Dr. Nicholls? And if you can once again look at your palette and choose Studio, and then you will be back at the studio. And in this way, with the Jashogo, if you can take off the, release him from immersion and welcome him back to reality. Great, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Nicholls. So we have also included a SMS feature, SNS feature as well, and there are other features that we will upload on our website, and this is once again available free of charge on Steam, and the retail version will be coming out next year, Q3, so we will keep you posted. We go to all the base camps, we go to several meetups, and a lot of the SketchUp mentors have been very helpful. They find our product useful, and we want to continue to build on that. A lot of verbiage here. I didn't have time to bring all the pretty logos up on the screen, but I just want to drop in a few names. Because we're based in Japan, we've received the support of several large companies. One of the largest printing companies, a billion-dollar company in Japan, as well as Sony. Sony is also using our product to design events and event booths as well. Added to that, Sennheiser is we just announced a partnership with Sennheiser, and we are bringing sound into VR to once again even further heighten the experience of VR and make it even more real for yourselves and for your clients. Finally, this is a straight read, please allow me to read this. We think it's important because we have received appointment by the Ministry of Land and Transport in Japan, and we are leading an I-Construction initiative. And one of the deputy ministries indicated that the greatest strength of VR is the ability to simulate a real experience and ascertain a sense of scale on site in an instant. And what he means by that is that we're also able to capture by drone point cloud information. Take that point cloud information of geographical terrain, and then we can port it inside of VR as well. And then on top of that, contextualizing the within the context of the geographical terrain, then we are able to overlay an architectural structure on top of it. So even more, you will be able to provide a better sense of realness to your clients. And to continue, he says, with SYMMETRY, architects, local residents, and future residents can share a common vision of a finished project at the planning stages in civil engineering. So not only can risk analysis be executed at the construction phase, but workflow can be shared in chronological order, as well as construction management, supervision, and inspection. So with the introduction of SYMMETRY into the construction sector, we'll be able to accelerate the decision-making process and improve consensus formation. And we hope that we will be able to afford that for all of you as well. We want to prove ourselves, gain the credibility and trust by governments and large companies, and equally important, the SketchUp community. So we ask for your continued support. We'll be around. We're also around at the restaurant area. And thank you for your attention.